I'd like to welcome everyone today joining us from different parts of the world to the third and last day of our event on the movement against online counterfeits. Now, before we start our enthralling discussion today, I'd like to shed some light on the importance of this movement. So, as we all know, our brands, our designs, and innovations create an identity for us in crowded marketplaces. It takes a lot of time, effort, and money to create that unique identity that sets us apart from everyone. What we are trying to do with this movement is fight the injustice that is caused by copycat and fake products on the internet. Just to give some background to everyone about us, we're a law firm based in India and the US. And along with helping our clients create and secure their IP, we specialize in helping e-commerce businesses combating the rising tide of online counterfeits. We use both artificial and human intelligence to identify duplicate and fake products online. Post this, we use our legal expertise to kill the counterfeits. We've assisted various e commerce businesses around the world in saving billions of dollars by scrubbing off the fakes from the internet. Our discussion today will center around the menace that is caused by online fakes and the ways in which we can deal with this menace or so called injustice. We have the pleasure of being joined by eminent speakers today, innovators, and market leaders in their domains. I'd like to introduce our guest on the panel today, Sue Phillips. So, for people who do not know her, Sue is an internationally renowned fragrance expert with over 30 years of experience in the fragrance industry. As the vice president of Tiffany & Co., she designed the first iconic Tiffany perfume for their 150th anniversary. From Tiffany, Sue established her own company, Scent Prices Inc., and has designed and launched fragrances for various luxury brands such as Burberry. She also has her own range of fragrances, which I believe, Sue, you're selling through your own website as well as other online marketplaces. Extremely privileged to have you on the panel tonight and would love to have your initial thoughts on the menace or the problem of online counterfeits and the impact that it has on honest businesses like yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here, and it's a very interesting discussion because, of course, online sales are increasing like crazy. And, everybody wants to have a brand that has a luxury feel or has been positioned and marketed as an inspirational or aspirational brand. So, um, counterfeits are proliferating because the counterfeit companies recognize that these luxury brands have a built-in audience, and it's detrimental for the brand to have their brand obviously being marketed online with fake products and fake marks and so on. So it's a very important situation for brands to be vigilant about protecting their image, their identity, their trademark, and their distribution, and obviously understanding how to shut down these counterfeit products.
Right, great. As rightly pointed out by you, it is a menace, it is detrimental, and it hurts this image that you've created after years of concerted effort, branding, innovation, coming up with new products every time. And why allow someone to eat on that hard earned reputation that you have created for yourself? So, coming to your own brand, right? Of course, you do design for various luxury brands, like I mentioned, but you, from what we understand, we do understand that you've been diligent in protecting your IP. You do have a list of trademarks in your name, and including your flower logo, which is extremely innovative. And so, yeah, of course, we know that you're doing your due diligence there. But how aware are you of the duplicates and fakes in the market vis-a-vis your brand?
Well, I don't think at this moment there are fake products. There are a lot of people who have copied my name. I have several brands or several trademarks, and when I first trademarked them, a company like Centerprises, which was a made-up name, and my perfume boutique, the Centarium. Well, now I see on social media variations of that theme with my names, and I can't shut down everybody because they emerge every day. but I think what happens is as soon as you start to generate it, particularly on social media, online, and people recognize that you are emerging as a brand, as an authority, there are definitely going to be copycats, no question. And I try to be vigilant. I don't have a team of people just watching my brand online. Maybe one day I will, but right now it's just when I come across it, I send cease and desist letters and emails and so on. I've actually been on many cases retained as an expert witness in many cases for not so much online, but mostly in retail distribution, where certain brands that have a prestigious luxury positioning are found in these off-price discount stores. So it's happening both in reality, in stores, and online.
Right. So it's a good thing, I mean, that you're aware of the problem. Like you said, you may not have the manpower today to monitor everything, but that's where we can help you because you really don't need the manpower, right? You use technology to your advantage like we do. So yes, we do in our practice also encounter a lot of market leaders or like startups who have just started or like probably 5 6 years down in the business, and they're not even aware of the kind of counterfeiting that's happening. In your case, I think it's not so much counterfeiting as infringement. Like you mentioned, people are like using variations of the names. Of course, the product may not be your product, but they are trying to, again, rip off on your reputation by probably using variants of your trademarks. So, yes, of course, it's great that you're aware, but in this session, we're trying to make people aware of this problem, right? And so little bit about how we deal with counterfeits. We do have our internal software that we've created out after like a year, not years, but like a lot of innovation and permutations and combinations using all of that, that scrapes the entire internet and gives our clients a list of all these online counterfeits. Now that list could be made available on a weekly basis, a bi-weekly basis, or a monthly basis, depending on our client's requirement. So, and of course, the enforcement happens after that. But the first step of becoming aware, okay, we do, like I said in our introduction, we do combine our artificial intelligence by way of this innovative software that we've designed, along with our legal acumen, wherein we use different parameters to fetch out these infringing products or counterfeits, so to say. And what is interesting is that, of course, everybody is aware of trademark infringement and the need to get their trademarks registered, but the broader protection comes in terms of copyright. So even if you've not filed an application or don't have a registration for an image or your artistic work that you're using along with, say, your product, you can still enforce it. Many people may be using your images, not just your trademark, right? Like you have these floral fragrances and different kind of fragrances, and you have these beautiful pictures. And I'm sure a lot of people are using, you know, those pictures also, which you may not be aware. So the software that we use also does reverse imaging of using your pictures to fetch out such kind of suspicious links that are not only using the trademark but the pictures, like I said. So again, if you do come across a counterfeit, like you said, you are aware, you are vigilant, you typically take it on yourself to take the action, right? You're sending like a C&D or like a takedown notice. How what has your experience been with, say, social media website or online marketplaces? How responsive have they been? Supposing you come across something on Amazon or say an Instagram post and you write to them to, take it down. What is the kind of response that you've received from these social media platforms and online marketplaces?
Um, in some instances, it's been successful because they don't like getting cease and desist. They don't like hearing from the brand owner. Um, but in other instances, oh, just even one of my trademarks is my name, and there are plenty of Sue Phillipses around. So um, it's hard to have them to cease and desist, but that's why I came up with some other variations of that. I would be very interested in having some kind of a manpower force or force to really be vigilant and to check it out. I don't think at this moment that I am as big as I will be in a few years' time. So maybe setting this thing up and putting it together now is an important uh, initiative to really protect the brand and to protect the image and protect what I'm building up.
Right. So again, coming back to my first point, you don't need, like I said, you don't need to create that in-house, right? It would never be smart. Even when you're like really big, why do you want to invest in that, right? You use experts. So I'll just give you a snippet of, like, say, a kind of report that we extracted for one of our brands, and the kind of results that our software was able to, procure for this brand. So Tokidoki, um, is a Japanese company, and we did a scroll for them, an internet scroll, entire scroll, wherein our software scraped the entire internet for 2 days. And we searched around 15 platforms. Of course, these are variables that can be changed for every different brand. And we were able to detect more than 1,000 suspicious listing in the US, more than 500 suspicious listing in China, again, 500 plus listings in Asia. And of course, we gave them our evaluation. We gave them certain examples of sample listings, in different countries. Uh, our recommendation here is for every brand owner like yourself is to do this initial scan to become aware. Coming back to my question on awareness, yes, of course, the enforcement happens later on. And again, if you have a partner like us on board, you will not have to follow up. You will not have to worry about the actual takedown happening or not. We have cases where, at least on Amazon, we've been successfully able to take down listings in like less than a day, right? So the
So
client really does not have to worry.
So
Sorry, yeah, please.
in that instance with Tokidoki,
Yeah.
you gave them the listings, you gave them the thousands and 500 and so on, all those different um, you know people who are taking their brand. What did you do, or what did they do to remedy the situation?
Okay. So of course, this was just an initial report that we did for them, but we do have another client again from US, Jody Bitten, who makes these really innovative jewelry for iWatches. And she was struggling with counterfeits left, right, and center because people were using her design and selling it at like half the price. So I'll just sort of tell you what we did for her. Coming back to your question, what did we do about it? Uh,
Yes.
okay, so you can see the case study on Bitten here. So counterfeit sales worth around 6 million were taken down in 1 month. We assisted, we of course we monitored, we detected, and we successfully took down up to 450 listings. And we gave her a total threat value, of course, and our average time per takedown was 3 days. 84 products were monitored on. So she had these designs, studs of different designs. There was no way to monitor something like that, but our software scrolled the internet, gave her the listings, and we were successfully able to take down close to 500 listings, and 500 takedowns happened, saving her $45 per listing. So yeah, uh, after awareness comes the enforcement, which is something that we do hands on from A to start to end. Of course, there may be instances where we may not be able to tackle like an infringer just by way of a takedown or a CND. There you may require deeper legal action. So of course we do have a proper legal team that goes, like you said, you yourself mentioned, right, that infringement and counterfeit is happening both in the online space and the offline space, for which you yourself have been an expert witness to in so many
Right.
cases. So there are certain cases where you do have to go to the grassroots level and take care of that. But for businesses like yourself that have such beautiful online presence, it becomes important to safeguard your online image. And what I would like to add here, it's not just the money you're losing, right? Now you make these fragrances. Supposing someone buys an infringing product and develops an allergy, right?
Mm.
The reputation of your brand gets hampered because that consumer is associating that product with your brand. So that makes it all the more important to fight these online counterfeits. So as of now, like I understand, while you are taking action at your end, you are not really aware of the entire picture or the entire
Right.
problem, right? You do still feel that you're early on in the business. So coming to that, we do deal with a lot of startups who think that they're not that big. And when we do our initial scans for them, within like a 2, 3 hour scroll, we're able to give them like 20, 30 listings. that they may not even have been aware of. So, yeah. And
That's so
it does
interesting.
secure your business, right? So,
Yes, for
again,
sure.
that's, yeah. So, you mentioned, Sue, that you want to come to India, or like
Well,
your
at some point, yes.
people do want your products to eventually travel to India. So, what is your target audience? What is the kind of consumers that you are targeting?
Well, my target audience is upscale, fashionable, who's interested in luxury brands, who's interested in representing themselves. Men and women who are sort of in the affluent area, and who are really looking to reflect their individuality and their personality. Also, we do a lot of corporate events, team building events, bridal events. I know that the bridal market is huge in India. We've actually done 2 Indian weddings, which were amazing. And we set up a fragrance bar, and we invited the guests to come to the fragrance bar and for them to experience the products and the fragrances and then to create their own. So it's really, my target audience is sort of varied. It's both consumers who are interested in a beautiful custom fragrance to represent and reflect their individuality, an upscale demographic for men and women. And then we also do corporate events and bridal showers. So certainly the event planners, the bridal industry, and corporate industry.
So then you're already in India. You've already done weddings over here. So
No,
it's
not
not
I didn't. I did them in America, but I have
okay.
a nice Indian, an Indian client base. So that's been wonderful.
All right. And what is your opinion? Like a lot of luxury brands have this notion that my consumer knows my product, so I really don't have to care about like counterfeits or like infringers, and it doesn't really hamper my reputation because my consumer is very high end. So what is your take on that? Would you, because like you said, you are catering to the luxury sector, you are catering to the affluent classes. So what is your take on the fact that eventually maybe a party that buys your counterfeit product, no, isn't, it doesn't matter to you because your customer will know your product,
No,
your customer base.
I think that that's a very arrogant kind of attitude. I think everybody has to be very careful of their brand, and not everybody is going to know me. I've just been building my brand over the last few years, and I think I'm getting more and more well known now because I've written my book. Here's my book that I wrote, The Power of
Oh,
Perfume.
lovely. Wow, that's beautiful.
And I've had a lot of interviews, and I've been helping people with COVID regain their sense of smell. So there's been a lot of press and awareness. I don't think my brand is very well known, but we're building it. So I think it's important, no matter at what level you are, whether you're a very high-end luxury brand or you're a niche product line or you're just starting out, it's important to put all those aspects in place, getting your trademark done, getting your logos done, getting your online presence involved. It's a complete program. You can't just think about one aspect. Oh, I'm only going to be in retail distribution. No, because the whole world is online. So you have to have an online presence. You have to have trademarks. You have to have your logos done. You have to have everything being done very effectively and very, very systematically. So I think it's important to look out for everything.
Absolutely, we completely agree because we also believe in the same notion that every product lost is not just loss of money, maybe not money so much for a luxury brand, but coming back to the reputation that I was talking about, right?
Exactly.
It hurts your reputation. So one has to be vigilant, no matter how big your brand is. The counterfeit may not have a big dent on your finances, but it will have a big dent on your name and your reputation.
Absolutely.
And you are coming to India. India is full of counterfeits. Unfortunately, we are struggling
I
with
know.
fakes and duplicates. So
Well,
yes, you have.
there's a whole area in New York City, downtown, in a place called down on Canal Street in Little Italy, and there's a whole area of selling fakes and counterfeit fragrances, and Louis Vuitton handbags and Chanel bags, and it's just a street with hundreds of vendors selling these fake products and perfumes, jewelry, not so much jewelry, but definitely fake Rolex watches, and Chanel handbags, and all the accessories, and so yeah, it's a huge market. And every now and again, I'll see in Women's Wear Daily, Chanel comes up and saying, this is our trademark, we're protected. Anybody that we see selling products on our trademark will be shut down. So they're very vigilant too.
Right. And like you said, there's a street with 100 vendors. In India, you have 100 streets that'll sell those kind of counterfeit products. So, like a land for, because of course we have all kinds of classes, and we may not have that kind of affluent target consumers all the time, and there are people who want to get that brand in their hand without paying that much. So yes, it is a menace here, and right now we're targeting the online world, but yes, there is of course there is a fight to be won at the ground level as well. So you mentioned that for you the maximum kind of infringement that you've come across is on social media. What about online marketplaces? Did you ever come across, like, say, a fake product on Amazon or eBay or Etsy or something like that?
Um, I I haven't really looked. I'm sure there are. Amazon has everything. I know that there are a lot of retail stores. There are a lot of fake stores. There are a lot of counterfeit, fake, digital retail stores where they're selling fake fragrances. Many of those online retail stores that are offering discount perfumes at a huge, discount. So, I make sure that I'm not on those, obviously, but they exist.
But yes, eventually you would want to be on these marketplaces as well, right? To expand your reach, and you would want to be protected to ensure that it's just you and not someone else, right? I mean, that's like you mentioned, you are a growing brand, and you would want to like be there as much as possible. So, do you feel like, so you've written to social media directly? Have you written to, say, Instagram or something if you came across a fake post for like a takedown or something?
Yes.
And do you feel they have effective guidelines to help a consumer like yourself to do the takedown on
No,
their own?
I don't think so. You mean Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah. Is
No,
it
I don't.
easy? Is it
I
customer
don't.
friendly that way?
They say, if there's a problem, if there's a suspicious activity, report it, and then, we'll get back to you in 3 days. But sometimes you never know if, in fact, it is going to reach the right people.
Right. So do you think it would help to have some kind of policy put together by all the platforms to fight against like these counterfeits? Would it help the end consumers and of course the sellers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the end consumer doesn't really know. That's why they flock downtown. That's why they flock to these discount stores. That's why they flock to the discount, retail online stores. Because the consumer sees a brand and they see it, they recognize it, and they see a great price, $29 as opposed to $240, and they're lured by the price. And sometimes people say, well, oh, I don't care if it's a fake, at least I have the label,
Yeah.
you know. So I think there is an aspect of education that needs to be done. I mean, I will tell you that I had a friend of mine who visited New York and wanted to go downtown to see all the Little Italy stores and the Canal Street and so on, and loved one of the fragrances that was her signature scent. And it was down there, and she wanted to buy it. And the packaging was beautiful, it was the same, everything looked perfect. And so I didn't want her to buy it, but she bought it. And we stepped away from the vendor and we opened it. and I took a whiff. I sprayed it, and it was awful. It was so fake. It was so
Yeah.
disgusting. It was literally the worst thing that you can imagine, which was in there.
Yeah.
And I said to her, this is no good. So we went right back, and because we were there and hadn't gone home, she was able to get her money back. But most people, tourists, they come downtown or they come to these fake places, they buy things, and then they go back to their home or their countries, and they're stuck because they can't return it. So
Absolutely.
I think it would be very helpful to have some kind of an educational platform for people to realize what they're buying. They're buying fake products, and it's really horrendous.
Yeah. So coming back to the online world, have you also experienced people using similar domain names just for the purpose of cyber squatting? Like they'll just buy a domain similar to yours and just
Yes,
block that,
exactly.
right? So again, coming back to our practice, we also are able to successfully identify like all these fake domain names. And yes, we do get in touch with the service providers to have them cancelled and everything. So I'll just like to show you some statistics for another client that we have. Just one second.
Have you done any uh, research and investigation on my website or my brands or anything like that?
Of course, we have no, we haven't really scrolled to see the fakes out there, but yes, we have gone through your website and your portfolio, and I'd love to show that to everyone. Just one second. So that is your website, and of course, we did go to the shop section,
Mm-hmm.
and so of course, this is your house marks, you Phillips, and you also have protection for this beautiful logo out here,
Mm-hmm.
from what we understand,
Yeah.
right? But we'd love to, help you out with protecting all of this, starting with, of course, an initial, just to know how far, I mean, how much trouble you are in, starting with an initial scan, which is what I was trying to show you that we'd done for one of, again, a client who didn't think he was too big. So we did like proper statistics, gave him like the kind of counterfeit that's happening on different e-commerce websites. Social media is relevant for you. So of course, we did a scan on social media also for him. And we gave him like a proper table where, we'd calculated the potential revenue loss that he was suffering because of all these things. And of course, we forward suspicious listings, but he had no idea that there were 40 plus fraud domain names that were registered with the similar words, just with like a little bit of variations. So yes, of course, this is something that we would love to do for you, that we've been doing, so that you know what kind of danger are you in, and to advise you what you need to do to deal with it. Like you said, you're new, so you may not need like a scan every day, but it may make sense for you to do something bi-weekly. Like you said, you can't go every day on the internet, and
Right.
it's not at that scale yet, but you may
Mm-hmm.
want to do something bi-weekly or monthly to gauge the kind of danger that you're in. And of course, then we do help you in protecting your brand. So yeah, that's what we are aiming to do here. Of course, like you said, educating people about the menace that is counterfeiting and infringement is one of the primary aims that we're having this webinar in the first place. Because again, we don't believe it's a business, we think that it's a movement where we're trying to fight against an injustice. Because like I had mentioned, you yourself would have taken a lot of effort and a lot of research into creating these unique products, and
Yeah,
it is so creative to have like a fragrance bar. It's something I've heard for the first time, at weddings, where people can
really?
come and curate their own. I mean, it's not something very common in India. So if someone can come and curate their own scents, and it is something innovative, it is worth being protected. And we aspire to help, innovative and genuine businesses like you to protect. So you do have like like a decent trademark portfolio from our basic research. What I do understand, you have around 6 to 7 protected trademarks. How has your experience been with like the USPTO, or like this is the part where you secure IP? How has that experience been for you?
It's been fine.
Okay.
I worked with a trademark lawyer, and we protect my brand. And every time it comes up for renewal, we talk about it and we renew it. And so it's you know it's fine.
It's been smooth for you.
Yeah.
And do you also like, take action against people who are filing just trademark applications similar to your marks, just to block the register? They may not actually be using it, but they've just filed applications similar to your
But if
marks.
they file application, how do I know? And people are filing applications every day, millions of them.
But that's where your lawyer comes into play, right? To let you know
Right.
who's done that. That's what
Right.
we, do for our clients. We constantly monitor the gazettes and the journals around the world to tell our clients about such people who are just probably squatting the register, not just the market. So that's also another aspect, of course, maybe not directly linked to counterfeiting, but in the overall gambit of brand protection, which is also something we'd like to make people aware of course, through you and this webinar that we're having. So yes, I mean, our advice would be over here for everyone to not just be vigilant about the internet, but also the register and whatever lawyer you're working with, uh, could be anyone of your choice, but make sure, because what happens is that if you don't take action against this application, it may just proceed to registration. And then it becomes all the more difficult to take action against a registered trademark. Then someone has like a prima facie or a bona fide, registration in their hand. Then what do you do? Then how do you even stop them on, in the online marketplace? So it's just like an overview of the different kinds of brand protection that one must deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that is our overall experience and the kind of expertise that we can offer to businesses like you in this
Um,
arena.
what is your company? Are you you're a legal firm? Technology? What is your company?
So we are a law firm, but we also have a software company that has created this software for us, and we are a mix of engineers and lawyers. Like a lot of our team is our engineers who help people with patents and innovations and everything. And of course, we do have a proper legal team that helps with the enforcement part, the legal aspects of things, the cease and desist, like you mentioned. So we do try to provide like an end-to-end solution to a client who comes to us just with an idea. He may not even know his trademark yet or his innovation yet. So, we mine these inventions and we help them with protecting their IP and then eventually monetizing it as well as enforcing it and stopping others from using it. We do strongly believe that one must preserve the ingenuity of genuine innovators.
Yeah.
So that is the essence of this movement and this webinar. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. And any last comments that you would want, any message that you have for like businesses like yourself, who are on the brink of making it, have made it, but on the brink of becoming big and huge, giant businesses.
Well, I think it's a great topic, and thank you for inviting me, and certainly to generate the awareness for people, for brands who need to really be very vigilant about protecting their trademarks and their brand identity, and also for consumers who need to know why buying fakes can, number one, it might look good, but it's not the real thing. So that they need to be educated. So I'm happy you reached out. How did you find me to reach out?
Yeah, so like I was mentioning to you earlier, also we are invest like the luxury sector really attracts us. We do keep an eye out for like, new market players like yourself, because we believe that the moment a brand attains this kind of reputation, especially in the luxury sectors, there are lots of people who will, try to trade on that reputation, and the margins are huge because you're such high end products,
Yeah.
and it's a fact that the counterfeits will be probably at like a 20% rate. of the original. So the damages for products like you are huge. Maybe not so much for like electronics and general consumer goods. The difference may not be as much as it is in your sector, because of course it is the luxury sector, right? So we do keep an eye out, and we're helping a lot of e-commerce businesses in this fight against counterfeits, and we love to interact with people like you, and reach out to people like you to get your insights and eventually help you and others like you to protect their business and to secure your business.
Well, stay in touch and let's see how we can work together, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, we'll definitely be in touch and hopefully work together soon.
Good. Thank you so much. Nice
All
to
right.
meet
Same here. And thank you for everyone who's joining us at the end of this third day. This is our third session, and all our sessions are there on our LinkedIn page. You can go and, just relive these really fruitful discussions that we've had. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Susan. Nice talking to you. Bye.